You could, yeah, that would be best. It's got a little clip.
Do you think it'll end up my hair? It doesn't make that much.
No, it should be fine. Yeah.
Where do I put it? Just right here?
Right there. It's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So after Bessie speaks and Rob is introducing you, Bessie's going to give you this mic. She's going to take off and it can just go out your lapel.
Okay.
And then when you're done, hand it to me. And I'll take it.
Okay, sounds good.
When I get this mic to the last other speaker beside Rob, I'll then go and power this one off. That's okay. No, you're good. This one on here. This is not. Okay. Let me just see. Yep, you're good. You got your pointer.
Maybe I should turn my phone on.
You got your pointer. Right. This is a lot
Good evening, everybody. Is it on? Good evening, everybody. We're going to start in about a minute and a half or 2 minutes. So if you can take some bites. Your chairs are very noisy. So before we start, you're going to want to get in a comfortable position. Are we loud? Sound check's good? Okay.
Just give it one down and.
All right, thank you all for coming. This is truly preaching to the choir. On this cold night, you're all very brave and very loyal. I appreciate you all coming. So tonight is the state of the school. It is my strangely sixth state of the school, as I spoke as the head of school-elect before I started, and this is my 5th year here at Louisville Collegiate. I can tell you I'm absolutely loving the work here and feel very blessed to be part of this amazing community. Jim? We got the pointer going. Down one more. There we go. All right. So fasten your seatbelts. We have a lot of information for you tonight, and it's very interesting to think about, well, how do we judge the health of the school? What is the state of the school? And how do we describe how things are going? And so we try all sorts of different ways. So we look at the vital signs, and then we're going to talk about, the first part of the talk will be about where we are, where we've been, and then where we're heading. So before we begin, we're going to have our two people, Augusta Holland, welcome us, the president of the Board of Trustees, and then following her, Lucy Holzer will talk a little bit about the Parents Association. So let's begin with welcoming. First, I want to talk about, real quickly, just the quick statistics for the school. So this is our 109th year serving children. We have 809 students, 143 employees. So both those numbers have grown significantly, both the number of students and then the number of teachers over the last several years. And we'll see that coming up. 27 trustees with 6 emeriti, and approximately 1,100 current parents or guardians, 2,300 alumni, and about 4,000 past parents and affiliates. Why I show that all to you is we're going to be talking about culture and climate. And what's really amazing about culture and climate is it's the sum total of all of our being, of all of our energy, of all of the ways we treat one another, and how we conduct our business with one another, and how we interact with one another. And so in some ways, it's a very small community, a small pre-K classroom, very contained, but then in other ways, with 4,000 past parents and affiliates, it's a very big community in that capacity. So this is the first time I've used this clicker, so I apologize. So I'd like to welcome Augusta Holland, and she has been an amazing board chair. This is her 2nd year, and I feel so lucky to be working with Augusta. So Augusta, thank you very much for all that you do for Collegiate. Let's give her a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Rob's really great with the free form, but I do need a podium. Thank you, Rob. I stand here feeling a bit sentimental, knowing this will be my last State of the School as board chair. Come this spring, as Rob said, I'll be graduating too. I've been on a handful of boards at this point, and truth be told, I never liked that word very much, board. It can bring to mind a heavy table behind heavy doors where hard decisions are just handed down. That's certainly not what this group is about. So I like to embrace that other word, trustee. That describes this group much better. A trustee is the recipient of something. A community is offering you its trust, which I think is a really special thing. But trust isn't like an award or recognition that's just about you. Trust only exists in a relationship. It gets made over time by working together towards a common goal. In this case, preserving this community of learning and hopefully improving it where we can. In this sense, we are all really trustees. Students, families, faculty, administration. We on the board just get the privilege of using that title for a couple of years. At Collegiate, we believe academic excellence is accomplished through transformative relationships. That's what it's all about. That's why we're all here. Those relationships rely on our ability to keep growing trust together through our care, our time, and our forbearance with one another for being wonderful but fallible human beings. Now, as my family will attest, I'm someone who likes when things are kept in order. Past generations have done a wonderful job of keeping collegiate in tip-top shape, and I want to make sure we do a fair accounting of what's happening on our watch. And when we checked the data, the latest numbers show that Louisville families seem to like what they see in this place. We are at a record enrollment, up more than 200 students in just a few years, and there are now likely wait pools for 8 of our 13 grades. This growth in our student population means that our net tuition revenue is also up significantly, 65% to be exact, and that's critical for our financial well-being and the long-term sustainability of the school. Among many other core needs, this financial stability allows us to attract and retain tremendous faculty and staff, and to continue to meet the growing needs of our diverse student population. This growth and stability are a testament to Rob and his administrative team's extraordinary leadership and support, which, along with our very fine teachers, earns Collegiate its great reputation each and every day. It doesn't take more than a quick survey of the education landscape to understand how difficult it can be to be an effective leader, to keep the focus on the core elements of teaching and learning and growing up. So I'm truly grateful for the amazing job Rob and his team continue to do. Meanwhile, the trustees, we've been working hard to do our part for the long-term sustainability of Collegiate as well. For the last few years, we've prioritized parent participation in the annual fund, and our community has responded resoundingly. 5 years ago, participation was at 52%, and now we're at an astounding 82%, near the highest ever annual fund parent participation rate in history. Amazing. And we still have more time to grow. So hopefully that number will keep going up. I like to think that's a pretty good barometer of the trust we have in this school and in one another and in the vision that Rob sets forth to try and make collegiate the healthiest possible place for kids to grow up. It might sound basic, but it's never been more important and maybe never harder to maintain a healthy place for kids to grow up. And that emphasis, in conjunction with our academic excellence, is certainly why my 3 children are all here. In a few months, I'll be passing the baton on to very capable hands. Rest assured that our board succession process is moving along seamlessly, and in addition to the thoughtful and hardworking members of the board, there's also a brilliant and ready executive team in place for next year. On that note, if anyone has interest in possibly serving on the board, please reach out to Scott Kiefer. I think his information, I don't even know if it's on the slide, but we'll make sure if you don't have his email, we'll get you his email. Scott Kiefer, runs our Committee on Trustees, and he's ready to answer any questions or talk through what that process looks like. So thank you for giving me your trust to lead the board for 2 years. It's been an honor leading this group of trustees and working with not only the board, but all the other people to whom the future of Collegiate is entrusted. Thank you to the whole collegiate community for your everyday care and creativity that makes today's Collegiate the very best school it can be. So now I'll pass it back to Rob.
Thank you, Augusta. That was amazing. Appreciate you. And now I'd like to introduce Lucy Holzer, the president of the Parents Association. And I think that they've done such an amazing job. Their main mission is to create community. And I think that they not only do a great job at creating community, but also really teaching gratitude to our children and to the community. And that has really changed in the last several years about how grateful we all are to be part of this community. And I think the Parents Association has been a big factor in that. So Lucy, thank you very much for all you're doing.
Do you want me to try to figure out the
I got it. I got
Okay.
it figured out finally. Yes. I was holding it upside down was the problem.
That is a problem. Well, hello, everyone. It was 5 months ago when I got to stand in front of the school community at Back to School Night. I had just stepped into some pretty big shoes left behind by Kelly Eastep, and I will say that this past semester has been a steep learning curve. It has also, though, been a really incredible opportunity. I've gotten to meet so many new faces and people in all the different divisions of our school, and I've gotten to see the incredible number of hands that go into making this community work the way that it does. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm super pumped and proud to be part of this community. I've definitely drank a lot of the Kool-Aid. It's a place where I know that my kids, they're safe, they're known, they're supported, they feel loved. They have really deep connections with friends and also with faculty who have this burning desire for, like, wholeheartedly for good things to happen to my kids. So, I can't say enough about how this community has helped our family and been such a major support system for us. I'm also so thankful for all the teachers here. They go above and beyond in so many ways that I do not have time to tell you about tonight. And then, of course, all of you people that are here in this room or watching from online, you always inspire me to do more and do better, because we all kind of come together to cultivate the healthy and positive school community that we want for our kids, right? So at Back to School Night, we talked a lot about how the Parents Association comes together to build that community. And we had talked about the Parents Association purpose being to create opportunities for all of us to come together, to connect and support one another and the school in meaningful ways. This is just some of the things that have happened in the fall semester. Hopefully you guys have found ways to connect with other parents and with the school, and none of this should be a surprise to you. So I will not be going into a great amount of detail about every single thing on that list. The few things I would like to highlight, though, are just the reasons why these are important to our community. So things like new family welcome events. We had parent volunteers who reached out to over 120 new families that joined our community this year. And as somebody who was new to both Louisville and to Collegiate at one point in my life, I know how meaningful those interactions were for me. And it shows the intentional, welcoming community that we are and want to continue being. So thank you very much to all the people who have volunteered to do that work. And it really is an important task that you have all taken on. The second thing, parent gatherings, lower school, fall festival, all those things. I know that the fall semester is crazy, right? You're all coming back to school and it's chaotic. But I love that we do these things at the start of the school year because it just sets that tone of fellowship across our community. The used uniform sale, which hopefully you've gotten a chance to go to today. The same thing. It's a lot of people coming together for this extraordinary event. It's the fall sale alone, I think we estimated about 1,000 pieces of clothing, uniforms, spirit gear, etc. Were circulated within our community at steeply discounted prices, which it helps our community overall. And it's not a small task to undertake. So definitely keep supporting that as a volunteer, as a shopper, or as somebody who donates clothes. And then the last thing I'll talk about on this slide is faculty appreciation. We have a couple amazing faculty support chairs who put on some sort of monthly display of appreciation for all of our faculty and staff on behalf of all of us as parents and guardians. And the fall, that looked like welcome baskets for new faculty, snacks at the very long and probably draining weekend of parent conferences, bun cakes, just because everyone loves bun cakes, gratitude wall where all of the students, all of your kids were invited to write messages about what they're thankful for here at Collegiate, which was all displayed along the glass window hallway outside here. And then finally, in December, there was a faculty dessert party, which so many faculty members have told me is their #1 favorite day of the school year. So please know that you're making a difference by helping and contributing and being a part of this community. Next slide. Thank you. So none of this gets done without the PA board. Some members are not pictured here, but they do so much behind the scenes to support everyone in this community, as do the 50 some odd people who are room parents and grade reps, and also the hundreds of people that literally show up when you ask them to, whether it is to volunteer at a specific event and physically be there or to contribute in some other meaningful way. This community really comes together. And again, why I am so proud to be part of this community. I know it is only January and we have a whole nother semester to go, but we are already looking to 2024 and 2025. So in the next few weeks, you will be receiving a couple of Google Forms. One will be a PA board nomination form. So please start thinking about whether this might be something that you would be interested in doing, or if you know somebody who would be really a great member of kind of planning all the things that happen here on campus from a parent's perspective. And then the second thing will be a volunteer interest form. So again, what do we want this community to be? How are we going to help make that happen? So take a minute of your time to do those forms, please. And then I think the only other thing I would say is to all of you and to Rob that from where I stand, the state of the Parents Association seems strong, and I'm really looking forward to how the rest of the year goes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy and Augusta. I really liked Augusta's point about all of us being trustees and or to look at schools as more of a collaborative than a retail purchase. And I think that we are really partnering with all of you to raise your children. And we do it as a community together. And it isn't a retail purchase. You can't come back at the end of the year and say this sweater doesn't fit, right? We're working together and we've got one shot at this, and it's very, very important work. So the partnership is vital, and so I appreciate all of you coming tonight to support that partnership. So it all starts with the mission statement, right? It's a really simple mission statement that we inspire academic excellence, extraordinary character, and global citizenship. The vital signs that we're going to look at, the first thing we're going to look at is culture and climate. And it's the bedrock of how we treat each other, how we feel. How does it feel for a first grader to walk into school? How does it feel for a senior to walk into school? And so we're going to talk about how intentional we're trying to be with culture and climate. Then we're going to talk about our academic excellence into the admissions and advancement and finance, all the core metrics of a school. And then we'll look at how we're heading forward and talk about some of the future projects and where we're heading as a school. So interspersed through this is going to be some pictures of day-to-day life at school, and collegiate's a really happy place to be. And anytime I'm having a tough day, I'll head down with our youngest scholars and hang out with them, and boy, my day gets a lot better. So the climate and culture is a total sum of the energy. And as Lucy was just saying, what do we want it to be? And what do we need to do to make it happen? It's not happening to us, we're making it happen. And what do we want to create for our children? And it's worth working towards, right? And it can make a huge difference. And I think schools start with this sense of culture, this sense of how does it feel to be here? And it will greatly affect our children and our children's well-being. And our North Star is we want to be the healthiest place in the world to grow up. So I've used this, and we have a lot of newcomers to this year, which is nice to see, but I've used this slide a couple times, and what I really want to emphasize is the center of transformative relationships. And this room starts the transformative relationships, but what really needs to happen with our children and us partnering together is we all need to develop relationships among each other, and then our children have relationships with their teachers and their friends here in this community, and hopefully they'll all all healthy relationships, that we're all building each other up and learning from each other. And so the transformative relationships, and so here we have 144 faculty members and staff that do this work as our vocation. This is what we do. This is who we are. And I can't think of a better group of people. It is such a wonderful group of people. And we were sitting in here yesterday going through this slide deck and just, we're going to talk about where they are and what we're doing with them, but just an amazing group of people. This is the best leadership team I've worked on in my career, and so very excited about my leadership team. We get along. People are doing hard work and getting the work done, and just a really great group of people there. And always reminding ourselves that why we do what we do is to serve children and to make their lives better and to help them be ready to be an adult and be a great citizens. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure our employees, our teachers, your children's teachers, are really happy and really focused on what is the mission of the school and are we all moving in the same direction. And so we've been working with a group called Org Vitals, and two people, Meg Hancock and Aaron Green from Org Vitals. And we've been talking about employees who feel satisfied with their work and their environment will be motivated to contribute completely to the mission of the organization and bring their full skills and selves to the work that they do. Right? If we can achieve that, things are happening. And I think we're really on the path to this, but we've hired Org Vitals to help us be better listeners and get a better understanding of, well, what can we do to give greater capacity to our teachers and to better understand what they're going through as well. So let me help describe where I believe we are with our teachers and what's going really well and then what we're working on. And so through our surveys, we've done 6 surveys since we started with them. We do them quarterly, and so you can see the surveys that we've done. And then we meet with them to really unpack the surveys and really try to learn and understand from them. And division heads are meeting with them, talking about how they can give advice differently and how they can give feedback to the teachers there, and the information that the surveys are telling us. And so in the surveys, we've had a couple really interesting quotes that I want to share with you. And this is out of hundreds of quotes that some were similar, but these really stood out to me. So this one was, the culture is strong and the community is wonderful. People come to work for the right reasons. I have taught in other schools and districts, and the support and autonomy at Collegiate is unmatched. So if we could get every faculty member to feel that way, we'd be in great business. We're moving in that direction, but this is what you need to fulfill the mission, right? Is you need people who are this aligned with our mission. We are dedicated to the school purpose and mission, but it is easy for requests on our time to add up and cause burnout. We are all, and I really like this part, management included, right? Like, we are all operating at above carrying capacity. So all of you are parents by definition, or guardians, right, that you're here. Raising kids is really hard. Amen. Amen, sister, right? Yes, and you're sitting right next to your child. But so, raising children is really hard. The people business is really, really hard. And so we have to be really careful that we don't push too hard past capacity. And so we've been working with Org Vitals to talk about, well, how do we keep raising the bar? How do we keep providing services and creating this healthiest place in the world to grow up, or this amazing school and this amazing environment? And so what we've been talking about are two things, is that we need to build capacity and we need to increase resilience. And so the first thing is we need to do is, can we reduce the stress? Are there things that we are doing in an organizational way that we can take a little bit of the work, a little bit of the load off of the faculty by being more efficient? And so can we have better meetings? Can we assign less work in terms of bureaucratic work? And how do we streamline things so we can reduce the stress for our faculty? And then how do we give them the feedback and have the conversations with them so they're working at peak efficiency and capacity on their own? I also think in this way, if we talk about, I think capacity is a really important word, that can we increase our faculty's capacity? And then schools are all about increasing children's capacity, right? And so your children's capacity. And so I really like that word, and I think we've really been focusing on that. And so one of the things that we have really jumped into is we all read this book. I have about 8 copies left in my office. If you'd like to have one of those last 8 copies, this book is amazing. Crucial Conversations are when the stakes are high, opinions vary, and emotions run strong. Sounds like schools, right? Or marriages, right? And what was really amazing is we all read this for professional development. My administrative team and all the teachers read this for professional development, thinking that, oh, I'm going to be so much better at work. And I'm like, I'm a better husband now that I've read this book, because it really helps you think about how important crucial conversations are and how often we need to have crucial conversations. And we think about how often we kind of veer away from it because we're nervous or we don't want to say the wrong thing. And so the whole faculty has read this. It's been the theme for this year. And it's been life-giving. And I really recommend the book. And it's been fun for us to use it and to come back to it. We're going to have another seminar in a week or two with Meg's coming in to have us do some more crucial conversation push-ups, I think, to really get in crucial conversation shape. Again, happy students. Isn't this awesome? So now we get to academics. And so through the pandemic and the kind of social emotional crisis, I have to make sure that we always start with academic excellence, right? And so learning is an essential pathway to happiness. And I think collegiate is a really intellectual place to be. LC is marked with deep intellectual activity and abundant joy by design. Students cultivate identity, self-awareness, curiosity, understanding of others, and academic skills allow them to thrive. And so that's our DEI component, and really good work in the academics. And we really expect to be second to none in the area or in the state or in the Midwest in terms of academics. We've been trying to expand our academics to what people would call at times soft skills. And so whether it's cultural competency or wellness or some of the other skills, I think particularly in this age of AI and so many other things that we can farm out to computers, these soft skills are going to become more and more important. And with our children feeling such anxiety and depression, I think wellness and some of the other soft skills are relevant to their success and their ability to cope in this world. So really proud of this core competencies movement. And what also is really cool about this core competency movement is that every single faculty member is involved in this. Every faculty member's fingerprints are on this project. And so, yes, we got ideas from other schools, and this movement comes from the Mastery Transcript Project. That's a national project. But this is now our own. This is Louisville Collegiate getting together for, this is year 3 or 4, Clay, of working on the core competency. Year 4. Year 4 of working on core competencies. Having these amazing conversations about what will children need as they're growing up. And this is what we've come up with. And it's really amazing. And there's such buy-in as we are working on it, and everybody in the faculty is working on it. So there's a sense of ownership and buy-in to it immediately. Here are some other indicators of academic success. Our ERBs are off the charts relative to other independent schools. KYA, quick recall, robotics. We're in robotics. Both the middle school and the upper school went to Worlds in Houston. The world champion robotics. I mean, that is just amazing. And the world championship, they didn't get world champions, but amazing there. Governor's School. We have over 20 faculty members that are part of making presentations at various professional development associations, 6 National Merit Scholars, 495 applications to 181 colleges and universities. 89% of the seniors have already been admitted to 1 or more schools. 20% of the senior class is already enrolled. Graduates consistently and regularly report that their first year of college is easier than their last year at collegiate. They are very well prepared. And that is consistent about collegiate graduates, is they come back and say, I am so well prepared for college. That they often say college is, as I said, is easier. So we have 3 amazing hype videos. So this is, you get a little break from me, and you get a little bit of hype going on here. So I think I pressed this one more time. Here we go.
My way is in theater. When I stand in the spotlight, I find who I truly am. From the drama classroom to the stage, my artistry opens the door to a breadth of possibilities at Louisville Collegiate School. With an arts department that offers hands-on student experience in theater, visual arts, vocal music, and instrumental ensembles, students at Collegiate have real-world opportunities they need to reach their future heights today.
Yeah, you can clap for that. Yes, yes. So we have 2 more videos coming up, not right away, so you're going to have to wait for them. And you're going to be really excited about them. One's about the Barker Brown and one's about athletics, so I'll give you the preview there. Now we're going to jump into enrollment. So we have, as we said, 809 students enrolled. For this year, we have 102 applications for lower school, 55 for middle school, 30 for upper school. It's pretty cool to see how many different states the applications are coming from, showing that people are moving to Louisville because it's such a great city. Here's a pretty cool enrollment trend. And know that as I said, and Augusta mentioned in her notes, that 8 of the 14 classes are probably going to have weight pools. And so the curve is flattening. And it will, in a very healthy way, flatten. But we are so much of a stronger school, and I'll talk about the finances in a moment, with our strong enrollment. And in the middle school, for example, we would have 2 sections and then 3 sections. Now we have 3 sections all the way through, all through the middle school, and then we grow appropriately in the middle school and then the upper school. What I worry about when I talk about student growth is that it's really healthy for us financially, but then people think, oh, well, collegiate's getting too big. We are small by design, and so when we talk about the additional net revenue that we'll show you in the next couple slides in finance, it's allowed us to hire extra teachers. It's allowed us to catch up on facility projects, offer different courses that we haven't been able to offer before. And so we will flatten the curve as we are getting full, but full schools operate much more efficiently than schools that have open spaces. So I'm very proud of that. And so you can see the grades where we have inevitable weight pools. And so what's going to be very interesting is in kindergarten, we have 41 applications and about 10 spots. So that's going to be really hard. And then sixth grade is also, we have about 11 spots for sixth grade with 35 applications. So how do we make these decisions? First of all, we're going to be, again, I just pointed that out, more selective. We have our admissions committee, and then decisions are on institutional goals and practices. And so this is what we look for when we're looking at applicants and how we're going to prioritize the applicants is good citizenship and strong character, academic excellence, artistic and athletic excellence, diversity. We're a family school, so if there's a sibling here, we want the family to be together, so we prioritize that. Faculty children, I think it's very important. It's a way that we can really engage our faculty. And even the faculty, what's really interesting about this is the faculty whose children have come and gone are as strong about being strong with faculty children. It matters so much to them, even if their children aren't here anymore. Just that tradition of if you're a faculty member here, you're prioritized to be admitted. And then we are need aware, not need blind. And so the financial capacity is relevant depending on where we are in our financial aid at the various grades. So that is how we prioritize the various admissions candidates. So enrollment reminders, so here are the dates. We will be sending out an email on the 26th and then re-enrollment by February 7th. So just make sure you are sure of those dates. Now we're going to get into advancement, and we have 100% faculty and staff participation, 82% from the parents, and I would love that to be at least start with a 9, if not a 1. I'd love for it to be 100%. And remember that we still have 4 months left, and so I would love for that number to continue to climb. The Root Prize have been amazing at heading the annual fund, so thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. As I mentioned when we opened, I suspect everybody in this room has already given, and this is preaching to the choir here, but if we can encourage your friends and families to participate as well. It's an important barometer in my mind that everybody is fully bought in, right? And that they understand that to finance a school like this, it's not just tuition, that it is reliant on the annual fund and our endowment and some other things that we'll be talking about. So that number is very important to me. And alumni participation at 12% I think is very good. We're very excited that we've raised $576,000 already, but we still have more room to go, and hoping to have a good push at the end of the year. Here's where the annual fund has gone in the last couple of years, and so exciting to see how many number of gifts to the annual fund, starting about 650, and now we're almost double that at close to 1,100 there. So I think that that's exciting. And then parent participation, was, as Augusta said, in the mid-50s 5 years ago, and now hopefully in the 90s this year. So we'll see. The next video, you guys ready? Yes.
We're so excited to share a tour of the new Barker Brown Athletic Complex with you. This 13,500 square foot athletic complex is located adjacent to our new turf field. This facility elevates the overall experience for our Amazon and Titan student athletes and fans. We are grateful to our community of donors and supporters who made the Barker Brown Athletic Complex and turf field a reality. The O'Grady Virtual Golf Lab houses 2 state-of-the-art simulators and a putting green space. The Community Squash Center contains 4 squash courts plus a viewing area for our squash teams to practice and compete. Each of the 4 courts has a digital scoreboard with the ability to both live score matches and live stream events virtually. This team conference room provides a space for our teams to meet, review game film, prep for upcoming games, and have an area to bond as a team. This office that opens directly to the turf field includes everything a certified athletic trainer needs. The Hall of Fame is the main entrance to the facility and welcomes our Amazons and Titans and visitors as they enter. This is the locker room for our Titan varsity student athletes. This is the locker room for our Amazon varsity student athletes. Locker rooms include restrooms, showers, and lockers. This concession stand features brand new equipment to serve hot food and cold drinks during athletic events. It will allow us to up our concessions game. And we will have restrooms accessible.
Yes!
We look forward to welcoming you to the Barker Brown Athletic Complex.
Those restrooms always bring a smile to our face. Yes, yes. These videos were made in-house by our marketing team, and you'll see you'll really like the last one too. And then, Paul, you have a future in announcing, I think. You're amazing, so thank you. On to financial snapshot now. We can see that total assets with the addition of Barker Brown increasing. Our endowment has had a nice performance in the last bunch of years, and so our financial standing is very strong right now, but we want to keep growing as a school. And the one area that we're going to talk about, so we've had 66% growth in tuition revenue, and an area that is very important is we look back on this side, we're talking about endowment. The endowment's really important for reducing our need of tuition revenue, right? It subsidizes tuition revenue. And then we want to be a school that is here, we've been here for 108 years, and we want to be here another 100 years, or another 200 years. And so we want to make sure that we have the financial viability for that. So just a preview that we're going to be looking at wanting to increase our endowment significantly, and I'll get to that in a moment. So here are the different areas of financial performance. You can see obviously with the enrollment, the net tuition revenue, which is the money that comes into us that we then have to spend on teachers, and increasing the faculty, and getting our facilities back up to par here. So exciting there. More happy children. And now we're going to shift into wellness and some of our work there. And so why I capitalize and underline the "and" there is that so often in our world, we put "ors" there rather than "ands." And so I believe that you need to be really strong socially, emotionally, or well if you're going to succeed academically. I think it needs to happen. So it's not or, like we're going to do academics, or we're going to do social emotional work. And the statistical data, the research that has been done on social emotional learning and wellness is extraordinary about its ability to increase academic performance as well. And so here's just two quotes. We started this slide, and Jim had about 15 quotes, and it was like the slide was like 8-point font, and you couldn't read it at all. But it's like, but there's so many studies that show that SEL we cannot ignore it. And this is pre-pandemic, this is pre-crazy social media, and all these things that our children are struggling with. And so I'm convinced that this is the path that our children need. And so when you work on social emotional, you're trying to find a lot of things to weave into the fabric of the school. And so regrettably, it's not just one single course that we can take, or it's not a pill that we can take and say, oh, we can check that box. And so what we've done is we've taken a very comprehensive approach to this and tried many, many different ways. And it starts with our 4-year-olds and works all the way up to our seniors. And so this is a representation of the work we do with wellness, and you can see that character cornerstones are the foundation, right? Our cornerstones are the foundation of the work, but then you can see all the things that we build up upon that. Sarah Gahan made this earlier this week, pulling it together. Thank you, Sarah. But it represents the whole school here in terms of what we're doing pre-K through 12th grade there. And then some of the specific things we're doing by division. The Ruler program is the program that was developed at the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. And it's why I'm talking a little bit more about that specifically. This is the first year we've been teaching it to children. So we spent a couple years looking at investigating, well, what was the best program to bring in for our children? And then we spent a full year training the faculty to be ready to implement it into their classrooms. And so RULER stands for Recognize, Understand, Label, Express, and Regulate Your Emotions. And it's a very scientifically based program of teaching children how emotions work and how we can, as I said, recognize, understand, label, express, and regulate our emotions. When I was on the East Coast, I went up to Yale to be trained in teaching this, and it changed my life. As I then learned so much about how primitive my emotional system is, and how if I can recognize that and understand what's happening in my body and the sensations that are happening in my body that cause me to do things, and some things that I regret as I listened to my body and didn't intellectualize that, oh, my body's just going into fight or flight over something that shouldn't be fight or flight, but our primitive system is sending that warning signal out, and you react, and boom. And so I can't imagine how effective I would be if I had learned this in kindergarten, right? I mean, it's just like, and so like, it's just amazing. And so our world is getting harder for our children to grow up. And we're getting amazing research about the brain, about the plasticity of the brain, about the neuroscience, and how we work. And so we need to, as a school, we need to understand this research, and we need to get it ready for our children to learn and to understand. And so RULER is just one example, and it's this year is a year that we've been putting it into play pre-kindergarten through 8th grade. So that's been really exciting to see that work happening there. The next video, people, this one's the athletic video. So exciting. Marketing team's amazing. Here we go.
At Louisville Collegiate School, my opportunities expand past the horizon. varsity sports and a no-cut policy, I'm encouraged to participate in multiple sports and be the best student athlete I can be. Teamwork is the foundation of my education and athletic experience. With over 110 coaches and 420 student athletes at Collegiate, I know I have a community that is working with and for me.
So you guys all want to come back and go to school here? Okay, now we're going to head towards the future a little bit. Okay, so we're just finishing up our self-study, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment in our accreditation work. From our self-study, we go to the strategic plan that we see what we've studied, and we have the accreditation visitors come. We'll talk about that. And then inevitably, with the strategic plan, we're going to have to raise some money to enact the strategic plan, right? So let's start with a self-study. We have 38 committees for the self-study, and each committee writes a chapter of our self-evaluation. And so the report will probably be 40 chapters with 38 committees, and then an introduction and conclusion. Again, every member of the faculty is on 2 committees and is part of, and again, has ownership of this report. And when the visiting team comes to look at this report, the most important thing they look at when they're evaluating the school is the congruence of the report to what they're looking at, what they're seeing. Is it truth? Is it realistic? Are we being fair about how we're evaluating and analyzing ourselves? And so I have on the bottom, thanks to chairs Becky and Clay, and have done an amazing job. Think about organizing 38 committees. That's no easy task. So let's give Clay a round of applause for this. What I've been trying to explain to the faculty with this, and I've been in schools now with 4 or 5 accreditations and accreditation visits, is I am absolutely certain we will pass the accreditation. And so what I want to do is I don't want to spend time then passing the accreditation. I want to spend time really being self-evaluative about what is it that we can get to do to be better. Then we have 10 out-of-town experts come from all schools in the Midwest, and they're going to try to say, their job is to say, oh, well, what did you think about this? Or can you do this? And so I don't want to spend our time focusing on passing this thing. I want to focus our time on getting better with this accreditation visit. We're going to spend time on it, so I would much prefer, I'm certain we're going to pass. Right? I mean, we're so far above the bar that passing isn't even relevant. It's then, how do we use this as an instrument to evaluate where we are, and how do we make that a place for change? And so we're really well positioned for that. What's amazing is Clay's like, well, we reserved these 5 afternoons and 4 mornings, and we're already ahead of schedule. Who's ahead of schedule for accreditation? So we're actually going to give a few afternoons back to the faculty, so you'll see them smiling this spring when we've already completed our accreditation self-study. And then next fall, we have about 10 people from schools in the ISACs, which is a Central States group of schools. About 1,000 schools are part of it. We'll have 10 people come here and, as I said, kick the tires and get a sense of what we're doing. So I think we're in great shape there, and excited about hearing what they're gonna say next fall. So we're just assigning chairs from the board for the strategic plan. And I'm going to tell you something that I'm certain that's going to be in the strategic plan. Hasn't been written yet. is we need to prepare for the future by reducing the dependency on tuition, and we are protecting the school against downturns. And so if you look at our endowment, Dina created a group of peer schools that we believe we are competitive with in the Isaacs group, and their average of the peer schools for their endowment is $33 million, and our endowment is $9.1 million. We are just in a different league right now than our peer schools with our endowment. If you look at it per student, right, because you may say, oh, well, these are much bigger schools than us. Well, no, per student, we're even less of a percentage versus these other schools. And so a significant part of then the campaign that will happen after the strategic plan has to be working on our endowment. And it is not the sexiest part of fundraising, but it will have an immediate impact on our budget and our reliance on tuition dollars. And we're going to talk about other ways to get away from reliance on tuition dollars, because when you make tuition increases, or our economy is going to have some ups and downs. The economy is pretty stable right now. It's been in an inflationary environment, but we need to be ready for downturns. We need this school to last for generations. And so an endowment helps us think about not only our school for our children, but our children's children, right? So I am certain that this will be a component of the strategic plan and then the capital campaign as well. So a couple other things that we've been working on, campus parking. We are so close to the finish line here. So on January 8th, our application was approved. And so we just need to now work with the construction companies to find the dates. We have a couple more forms to fill out, but no more big decisions, no more big disappointments. And this spring, we will be communicating with all of you. Yorktown will no longer be above the ground. And so we're very excited about that. And boy, has that been a journey and a learning journey as well, and no fun. So another area that we have worked on and that we're continuing to work on is safety and security. And really something that is so important. Hasn't been urgent for us yet, who knows? But that's what really good schools and planners need to do, is work on things that are important, but not necessarily urgent. And so we've been working very hard on making sure that your children are safe and sound when they're here at school. And so some of the people we've been working with are Whitney Strong right here, Waller and Whitney. Thank you for your help with your work here. But just this last week, we had Homeland Security in here, and they walked all over campus and met with Jim, and really did a great assessment of our preparedness. And so we got a lot of praise, and then we got some ideas of we need to get more in writing, we need to get a few more formalities done. So overall, it was a very good visit. And they gave us some things to check off the list, and some equipment that we can buy, and also some people that might help us fund the equipment and some other things. So we learned a lot from them, and we also developed some good confidence that we are moving in the right direction and working hard on that front. That gentleman there is Major Grissom of the 5th Division. We're developing a very strong relationship with the 5th Division, which is really important for us to have a lot of police officers who know this campus. And if there is something where they need to come to this campus, they're going to know where things are and connected with that. And so I'm trying to get more of them. Here's a picture of one of the gentlemen. We invite him to lunch. I'm trying to get more and more of these. I'm like, we'll give you free lunch. And the lunch at Collegiate is so good, right? That I'm trying to really do as much as we can to have the police on campus as much as we can get them. We do practice with Alice and some other techniques about making our campus safe for the children. So just want you to know that we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes in that capacity, and Jim has been amazing helping me with this. So here's it was January 9th, so just last week they were here. Auxiliary programs. So our summer programs, our before school and after school programs. Again, you're hearing this reliance on tuition dollars. And so we want to reduce our reliance on tuition dollars and start making more money on our auxiliary programs. And it's a dual mission too, because we also want to provide greater choice for parents on what great things we can provide the children for after school or during the summers. Barker Brown's going to be really great for this project, as well as we can get much more of athletic camps out at Barker Brown now that the kids can come inside for air conditioned in between the sessions there. So stay tuned for seeing a lot more action in the auxiliary program space. Happy kids! The gala. Tickets are going really, are there any tickets left? But they're going fast, right? Really fast, and I'm not kidding. So if you do want to go to the gala, you heard it here first, get your tickets soon. And it's going to be a really wonderful night, 2/24/24, great night. And there's a full moon scheduled for the gala. But it is a wonderful night for us to come together and celebrate Louisville Collegiate and our community. And so mark that on your calendars. Concluding remarks, re-enrollment contracts on the portal tomorrow. Re-enrollment contracts due February 7th. Parent and Guardian Wellness Series, February 8th, 8:15, right here. That's been a really great series this year. Jim, thank you for all your work you're doing there. The gala, 2/24/24, 6 o'clock. And then graduation, May 24th at 1 o'clock. All right, well, thank you all very, very much for coming. We have a question or a compliment. I'm not sure which one it's gonna be.
Fabulous as always. Thank you for all that. Are the re-enrollment contracts tomorrow, the 19th, or next Friday, the 26th? 2 days.
The 26th, that was, okay, thank you for, I had two different things. So thank you, great catch. It's the 26th. We're a little discombobulated we came back late. This is earlier. There were fewer days between coming back and earlier. I had a really bad cold last week. So thank you, great catch. I appreciate that. So the 26th, right? Thank you. That was like a layup question. That was easy. That's it. Thank you all very, very much.
Great job.